Today, Hanford is a small town in California's San Joaquin Valley. Not much different from the other small farm towns surrounding Fresno. It has 14,000 people, a Sears store, a Montgomery Ward's, a couple of auction yards, 2 movie theaters, and this alley. This alley makes Hanford different from the other towns. This is China Alley, all that is left of the 600 Chinese families that once lived and worked here, farming and building the Santa Fe Railroad. Richard Wing's grandfather opened a restaurant here in 1885 to feed the Chinese laborers and farmers. 3 generations later, the restaurant is still in China Alley and still run by the Wing family. Lawrence Sue's uncle, father, and grandfather all had thriving herb businesses here in Hanford. That was a long time ago. The Chinese have gone. The buildings of China Alley are empty or have been replaced. A few signs remain. Only the Taoist temple is almost exactly what it was a century ago. The temple, perhaps the last temple in California, still stands. Richard Wing, Dennis Triplett of the Kings County Planning Commission, and Lawrence Sue are among the people who want to save and restore the temple.
You know all the steel doors there? Well, the steel door used to protect, and we had a lot of tall walls at one time. You know all these bricks were made by the Chinese.
How old are the buildings?
The buildings across the street is not as old as on this side. I would say about 80 or 90 years old.
Larry, I noticed that the herb shop says L.T. Sue Company. Is that a relative of yours?
Yes, he was my uncle.
Very interesting point you left out.
Yes.
About L.T. Sue. Remember, he came to Hanford because of you. You were very ill, almost died.
Yes.
And your father and your grandfather must have the finest Chinese doctor or Chinese herbalist, and this is why he came, because of you too. And now you become Lawrence Sue.
That's
Right.
really great.
Right, that's a long time ago.
Can you tell us a little bit about the condition of the building?
Well, the building really is extremely sound. It was constructed in 1893, and it's the type of construction that was very common to the area. The exterior walls are brick, and then the floors and ceilings are supported by cross timbers that run between the brick walls. And they're still all in extremely good condition. It would almost bear a public use again in its present state. One of the more interesting features of the building, I think, is that these brick walls that we're looking at, even though they're brick walls, they've been plastered over, and then a brick motif has been painted back on the walls by hand.
This whole wall actually is quite interesting. I see you've got wooden plaques all through here. Do you know what any of that says?
I understand these brick proverbs. Now these were given by city, just like from Fresno, from Visalia, from Bakersfield, from Sacramento, from San Francisco, when this church was dedicated. And some of these proverbs and calligraphy are by famous warlords and great educator during the Qing Dynasty. This is an interesting point to point out, though. You see all this periodical lighting. The kerosene light, and this is the oil gas light, and then we're coming back to our incandescent light. So we have years of lighting system here. All these teakwood furnitures.
Mother of pearl inlay.
Yeah, the inlay with mother of pearl and marble background. And some of them still have these straw cushion on them.
Pretty dusty.
Yeah, look at the dust there. And now most of the furnitures are still in perfect condition, except they need a little more remodeling caused by the weathering of the season, the hot and the cold. Oh, be careful now. These are the glass bead from the lantern.
Oh, they're falling off too.
It's a handmade, and see all these lanterns here? I think it's falling from one his lantern. Now there's a little altar there, and you notice there's a piece of wood. Now the wood signifies in Taoism the staff of life. The wood itself contains all the quintessence of life, the 5 basic elements. See, you have air, water, heat or energy, and then also you have mineral there, what you may call it, metal.
How do you, what is the Chinese for the 5 elements, Richard?
金木水火土. That's the 5 basic elements in Chinese.
How much do you approximate the value of all of these artifacts to be, Richard?
It's hard to say because I wouldn't dare put a figure on this because some of these is just one of a kind, especially those calligraphy, those proverbs, those plaques there.
I still have a picture of my grandfather, Su Chung Ki, back in the old days when he first established his Chinese grocery store and herb store. And I do remember that when that picture was taken, I believe this picture there was still in the old store before he donated that.
That's an embroidery, isn't it, Larry?
Yes, it is. It's embroidered of, well, you notice all the color has faded, and here is his name written in Chinese concerning when he had it and where it was donated. And of course, you know that all this is finished in antique abalone shell. Mm-hmm. And the carving on it is quite different than some of the stands that hold this picture. The frame of this picture is teak wood and is quite original, and it came from China back in the 1900s.
Can you remember some of the things that happened when you were a child growing up in this temple? Or were there...
Well, yes, I do. Now, you take that, those sticks, for instance. I remember when I was a little boy, we used to take this, and with my parents, we would shake this, and it would spill out. Whatever is spilled out, we would take each stick that spilled out, and it has a number written on it, which you can see here, and we consult an almanac, which is this book here, and we would find out just what our future would determine.
Larry, why don't you show us how to work those?
This is a team. It's a fortune stick. Now, you're supposed to say a prayer, and one will just fly out. One. So this is a number.
I'll get the number if you will take
65.
Well, we'll let
number
Richard handle it.
65.
This is an almanac called Tong Sing. And so usually we look at the almanac and how show you why? Why is it why? Yes.
No, I don't.
Well,
Anyway,
let's look up the future of the temple. Let's see if we can match up with what's going to happen.
Well, the future of the temple will have a glorious, we may say, renaissance again. We hope so. This is the original roster of the list of people, names, who donated the money to have this temple built. The lower characters are the amount of money which of each individual donated to the temple. Now you know some are 20 cents in silver pieces, up to about $50 in gold pieces. We have bimetal standard at that time.
On the top panel, you will see that it's written in Chinese ink, and in time, some of those will wear off. But luckily, these hasn't worn off yet, and if you notice the bottom panel, it has been carved into the board. It's got red paint inserted into the scriptures, and that way it's quite discernible.
What is that in the corner, Richard?
This is an incinerator. It's a burning vessel. What they really use it for is they have a piece of red paper. They write a message and then try to contact their ancestor. In any kind of a religious ceremonial or performance, a burning is the most essential, because by burning, the thing will be disintegrated in your earthly way of life, which will vaporize or in an ethereal form, supposed to contact your ancestor. And that's what it's for. It looks like an incinerator, though. So there's at least 12 to 15 truckloads of Chinese tapestry, embroidery, beautiful costume for weddings, for funeral. You have parasol, you have banners, and I think it's too bad, though. They were stolen now. And now there's only about 2 trunks there, and it's all empty. Unfortunately, the temple has been ransacked at least 6 times. My father and write some donation and collect some donation, and you have to put it on the wall. See, post it on the wall, and then I think about the last person was my father. To look at a temple, you know, there's a great big table there. These families, just like my mother, will cook a lot of food up there, and there's a lot of Chinese bachelor, you know, with no family here. Their families are in China, and then they go up there and just like a free buffet table. This temple is not only just a place for worshiping, it's almost like a community townhouse for the Chinese. It was a meeting place. You know, there's a lot of chairs around. They have used as a school.
I attended all the Chinese schools here. They had it in several places. I had attended for a good 12 years of it, when I was a little boy up to during my high school years. First Chinese school I went to was in a basement in a store that my grandfather operated. There were only about 4 or 5 students. In the temple, in the back room there, I attended there for about over 3 years.
Assemblyman Gordon Duffy of Kings County has a special interest in the temple and its preservation as an integral part of California's history.
I am so convinced that we have not done enough to recognize the importance of Chinese culture and Chinese heritage as far as it's affected, you know, all Californians, that within a few weeks I'm going to be introducing legislation setting up a California Commission on Chinese heritage and culture.
Could you tell us why you're personally interested in seeing the Hanford Temple preserved?
Well, one of the reasons is that I have such strong memories and such positive memories of the Chinese contribution as far as I was concerned in California. But secondly, if we don't preserve that particular temple, that we are going to lose forever one part of all California's heritage.
This is about the only temple remaining as is around California, you know. There's one in Weirview which has been restored. But you know, most of the Chinatown in California either gone or have redeveloped into another what called modern section of town. Vasea Chinatown is gone. Corcoran Chinatown is gone. Reedley Chinatown, Fresno Chinatown, even Stockton, all along here. But Hanford, fortunately, we still have the Hanford Chinatown here. And as it is, especially this temple. You know, this temple, if those the name of all these people were to reappear here, I think they will recognize every bit of this temple, because we have not changed it. It has not been have an outside influence, try to, shall I say, pollute our civilization, our culture here yet.